Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are into our fifth series of the day. It will be between Mineski and Adroit, and it is, of course, MLPDotA and Johnxfire. John, these two teams are back once again. Of course, in some pretty interesting showings from both. Of course, Mineski, though, definitely looking to be the favourites in this matchup. But I've got to ask you, how do you feel right now, sir?
I'm really excited to see this one unfold, Mike. It is a bit tight here as the groups have kind of kicked off, right? We are seeing a lot of teams starting to tie up, and the bottom four aren't going to make it off the playoffs. As it stands, Mineski and Adroit both stand at 1-1, being in the middle of the group. So right now, Mineski is listed as 4th, but Adroit, with the exact same score, is 5th. One of these teams really will want that upper hand, of course, as they progress in the group stage. You really want to secure yourself in that top 4. So this is a really pivotal match up against these two teams. As you mentioned, Mineski is probably the slight favorite, although Adroit is not going to be an easy opponent, of course. These guys have pretty much evened out the score as well. They've done some good work for themselves, and they're going with a very solid combination already. Ember Spirit, Magnus coming out here for Adroit, and it should be interesting to see if they can pull this one off. For Mineski, of course, they have the Grimstroke and Omni Knight, not the most common opening. You tend to see it being like a Grimstroke Lina, a Grimstroke Doom, a Grimstroke Sven. You don't normally see the Grimstroke Omni Knight first, but you can do a lot of work. That does mean your second phase of picks will be a bit awkward. You might see some of the heroes you want to combine with that Grimstroke banned out, but it's a strong opening for both Mineski and Adroit. It is much more straightforward for Adroit, though.
Certainly, definitely does seem that way. Emma Magnus, such a strong opening though, Mineski. Grimstroke Omni. We'll see what they can get done with that. Of course, there is the Sven available so far for Mineski if they wish to pick it up and combo that with the Grimstroke. We do see that pretty much all the time. With that Omni Knight as well, like the Sven will pretty much have free reign in those engagements, just with their Heavenly Grace and the Guardian Angel. We'll see though if it does make it through this ban phase. One more ban from Adroit. I imagine they probably should get rid of that Sven, but I guess you really never know. I mean, there's just so many combinations with that Grimstroke to try and take care of. But there goes the Slark. I kind of wonder now, with the Slark ban, what is Mineski up to?
I mean, it could just be straight up the Sven pickup. We have seen that matchup before, and it is kind of Slark favored because, you know, he likes playing against strong strength heroes. He likes stealing all that agi for himself, really building up, because that means when he goes for other targets, they're going to fall faster. He can get a push going much faster with all that stolen agi. So just taking that Slark off for Mineski, it still tells me, you know, the Sven is still at the back of their mind. We have seen that matchup before. Again, that Slark tends to enjoy that, so they're just going to make it safe if they do go for that pick.
Yeah, definitely so. They'll get rid of the Jug of all things, so Mineski's still a lot of open kind of heroes to pick up here. The Shadow Demon will be the pick from Adroit now. One of those really powerful supports, especially in that early game with that Shadow Poison. He can be a real menace to deal with. Even just the vision game into the late game with the Shadow Poison can be very, very nice.
Definitely is, and you have that straightforward combination now with the Magnus. You get that disruption off, reposition yourself as the mag, skewer back, and it does make for easy setups into easy tower kills if you do execute that well. Adroit did ban out the Juggernaut as well. That's a bit surprising for me. It does seem like you would really enjoy the Sven here for Mineski. Going back to that previous point, the Jug doesn't combine as well with the Grimstroke. It does kind of work out nicer with the Omni Knight, for sure. Like, you have all that sustain, and you have the healing ward on top of the Omni Knight heals. It does kind of work out nicely. But again, we'll see what Mineski does pick up. For Adroit as well, there is that possibility where they will run that support Magnus. We have seen that before, and honestly, it wasn't that impressive when we saw it come out. Perhaps Adroit, if they do go that route with the Magnus Shadow Demon supports, can make it work. It does worry me. You don't have the best lockdown coming out with that kind of support duo. And Mineski has a lot more, you know, in their own support duo. With that Shadow Shaman especially, you should be able to get that single target control down. Slippery heroes like the Ember not going to have a great time, especially if that Shadow Shaman gets a decent enough blink timing.
Yeah, no, fair point. Adroit, 4th pick for them. They'll go into the Sand King now. Some great control. A lot of disable coming out here from the Adroit side. Mineski, they pretty much have the same, just in the Shadow Shaman. Now, some more cores to come out from Mineski. I imagine this is that point where you see the position one come out, and again, if they wanted the Sven, it's still there to be taken.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
No, they'll go into the
Oh,
Morphling
okay.
instead, and I suppose that's why you saw the Slark ban come out earlier on. And why the hell not, right? Into a Sand King, getting that Burrow Strike for yourself, even the Ember or the Magnus, even the Shadow Demon. All great abilities to be stolen by the Morph. I do feel like that's a pretty nice pick from Mineski.
It definitely is. It's a solid core here. You don't have the best lockdown coming out from Adroit in this case. Especially if you're going to go with a Shadow Demon Magnus support duo. It does look like they probably will go Shadow Demon Sand King support instead. I mean, that remains to be seen, whichever teams prefer. I just feel like it is definitely stronger to have your support Sand King this time around. And the Magnus does, he enjoys the farm. You're going to want him to
10
have a good
seconds
blink timing.
remaining.
Perhaps a Shadow Blade, perhaps an Echo Saber, or Mech into
5
Guardian Greaves as
seconds
well,
remaining.
as Magnuses tend to go for. Sand King, all he really needs is going to be a blink. He can play that greedy position 4, but I don't think the Magnus does as well in that spot. He just doesn't contribute anything in the lane if he's not farming, or he contributes much less than the Sand King would. So it remains to be seen for Adroit, but that's probably the ideal they're going to be going for. And again, that Morphling with the supports at hand for Adroit, with the heroes they have, isn't going to be having too hard of a time escaping. Again, none of those hard stuns coming out for Adroit.
Well, Mineski, one more ban for them. They are using a lot of this reserve time to make this ban. And looks like they will get rid of the Meepo, which is fair enough. Don't want that cheese pick coming out from Adroit as their last. Mineski, how do you finish all this off? I mean, you practically already know who the mid hero is in the Ember. Of course, they can switch it around, but it's more than likely he'll be in mid. Can't go for that OD pickup if you wanted it. It is already gone.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Love to see a bit more crowd control here from Mineski, I feel like. Like, you've got some decent crowd control in the Grimstroke Shadow Shaman, but just a little bit more. I suppose that's why Adroit just got rid of the puck. Would have been just almost the perfect pick here, but they'll go into the Lina instead. Got that extra stun, got some great burst damage from the side of Mineski. And I suppose overall, up against that Ember Spirit, it does tend to lane very well against it, just due to the fact that it can sit at such a far range and get those attacks off. I wonder what Adroit pick up here.
Yeah, they have the option of running that Ember safe lane as well. If they don't want that matchup down mid, they do have that option. It just begs the question, what do you want mid? I mean, one option they could go for is perhaps that Kunkka. It does tie into your team fight quite well. You can control the Morphling without, as he, while he doesn't have that link into a BKB up. And you could play around Lina. It's not going to be the cleanest time, but Tidehunter is a spell.
Oh,
They go to PA.
not
Okay.
very often we get to see this, John. How do you feel about the PA pick, though?
Not the best. You're already playing it against the Lina. You're playing it against the Morphling. These heroes can burst you down quite well. You have the Shadow Shaman, which can hold you or the Ember Spirit well, but not both. That's the one thing at the very least. Only the Shadow Shaman can really hold in both of these heroes. You'd have to Hex one and Shackle the other to get that control down in the middle of a fight if you want. It's interesting. I mean, of course, it combines quite well with Magnus, and that combination is quite terrifying. The issue is, can it withstand that early burst? Is it going to overtake fast enough? Are they going to be able to find that space to get this PA big enough? The combination and the power of the PA is really strong, but the burst damage is already there from Mineski.
Nevertheless, it's always a pleasure to see a PA come in, because it's not very often we get to see it. And with that Magnus and power, should be a lot of fun. Even with the Ember, it's just a lot of empowering going on with this Magnus, so booming. In charge of that, of course, they do have, I believe, the position 3 Sand King as well, from Bok. I don't know, if they get off to a great start here for Adroit, I feel like they could just take over the game completely. I can't imagine Mineski are really going to allow that. as well as that, I mean, you've already spoken about it, but they've got the control for the PA just in the Lina itself, just the burst damage she can offer.
Yeah, it's not gonna be an easy PA game, that's for sure. You definitely have to play around that, and you have to remember you're playing into the Omni Knight, so that Guardian Angel is gonna be a major factor in the team fights as soon as you have level 6 in KP.
Well, we'll get into it. The 5th game of the day. Mineski versus Adroit.
Too good.
I believe both teams have lost a game today, though. I'm trying to check the records
Yeah,
now.
no, it's 1-1. It's
Right.
1-1.
Thank you.
So both teams are 1-1. They're in the middle of the groups right now, and this is going to be pivotal because, again, once you drop below half, if you're going to stay there, then you're out. You're not going to make it to the playoffs. You're not going to have your shot at TI. And so, both teams really want to secure this win, give themselves a nice start in the upper half. It's going to be really interesting to see who does come out on top. Again, I do feel like Mineski's draft is a bit more well-rounded. They have kind of counteracted the physical damage coming out from Adroit already with that Omni Knight pick. So as long as KP gets decent enough time in lane, gets his level 6 at a good time, you're going to have a hard time really playing against that.
Looking at KP on the Omni Knight, like, just imagining the lanes he's going to be up against, I imagine it's pretty much going to be a free lane for him on the Omni as well. Like, I don't see a PA and Boomy on the Magnus or even just the Shadow Demon being able to do much against him, especially once he hits that level 3 mark. It's going to be a bit concerning how much sustain KP can get through his items. They are going to try and pressure for these bolt bannerines on the side of Mineski, though they will try to do the same on the side of Adroit up at the top lane. Boomy, he does have the level 1 skewer just in case, and it should be a 2-for-2 trade on those bounties early on, so a very even start between the two. They're going to put CML on that Shadow Demon down at the bot lane, it looks like, with Bok. Of course, they can just opt to switch lanes as they have multiple times today, but...
Does look like we will have that support Magnus. Laning along with a PA, that doesn't sound like the strongest lane unless Boomy can, of course, get that skewer off and drag KP into the tower. That's really the game plan here, but whether or not KP gives him that opportunity is another question.
Well, he does get skewered back into the T1, though it's only going to be a couple hits, so it's a lot of damage actually. KP now doesn't have Purification available. Looks like he should end up falling, though he does have a salve. He's trying to juke them out far enough, but they will find it. Boomy does find the first blood. I mean, you literally just said the skewer into the T1. And he does oblige.
Unfortunate for KP. Maybe he didn't expect that skewer level 1. I don't think there's any other way you run the support Magnus now. Like, you can go Shockwave, I guess. Empower if you're just going to focus on the last hits. It just doesn't have laning presence, so this is all they're really going to be aiming for every single time. It's going to be a bit harder when KP does have levels up, though. He's going to be a bit too tanky to really contest.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a bit of a pull going on here from the side of Adroit down to the bot lane. The Raging Potato and Ninja Boogie trying to find some kills here, and they will find CML. Yet nowhere to go. Does end up losing his life. They are punishing with these two supports. I guess that is one of the positives about having a player like KP on an Omni Knight is he doesn't need the support there. So you can afford to just have this roaming duo of the Shadow Shaman and the Grimstroke, just making havoc across the map, especially for Bok, who is really relying on those creep pools to get that XP and farm up. It's just going to be a hard game for him, just not being able to find those pools for free.
The bigger thing is that you're not going to be slowing down his Morphling, so Nico Baby pretty much has an uncontested lane, and we have seen what happens when Morphlings get a free run like this.
Well, it's a very balanced hero, John. I can't imagine it'd be too bad. Well, Bok just forced to back off again on the Sanking. He has level 1 Sandstorm, but that's pretty much all he has. CML trying to find his way into the bot lane as well, but he's going to be cut off by Ninja Boogie and Raging Potato. Meanwhile, on the mid lane, the one lane we haven't really talked about too much, Mac is there on the Ember, up against Moon on that Lina. So far, Moon has taken a small lead in terms of last hits. I guess that was to be expected though, because Mac on the Ember really can't do much to shut Moon down.
Yeah, definitely can't. And again, we talked about that from the draft. It is just hard for the Ember to contest. Once his shield is a bit up, he can walk in without carrying as much. It's still, Alina's lane. She has the superior range, she has the superior harass. It's going to be hard for Mac to really force Moon out.
Looking back over that top lane, KP, he's found 15 last hit, so he's not been struggling too much. There's 18 there from Natsumi. We did just see a missed skewer coming out from Boomy. So at this point, the Omni Knight does get a hell of a lot harder to try and kill off. Mind you, he did go for the levels in Degen Aura rather than the Heavenly Grace. So he does look to apply some pressure on Natsumi as soon as you see that Magnus leave, and Boomy probably isn't going to leave the lane anytime soon anyway. He's just creep pulling. He's ensuring he gets the creep equilibrium his PA's way. And as I say, he's not leaving. He does walk towards that mid lane, but it looks like he is just looking to stack up for his PA again.
Yeah, that's going to be really important again to set that pace. For Adroit, you want that early farm on these heroes. You want them to come online and get that snowball off. You also have to realize that your side lanes aren't going too well. Bok is forced to pretty much dip into the jungle, and they have tried to get those creep pulls off. He's not at the level where you really want him to be. It's still level 2. Nico Baby about to hit 5. And that's really just not a good sign with this offlane Sand King.
Yeah, not to mention Ninja Boogie is just being there, just stealing creeps off him as well. Will soak XP with the Sand King. So Bok just getting nothing for free this game. At the very least, he does hit level 3. So there's that, but like you said, Nico Baby about to hit level 5 now. And still is free farming. Completely uncontested. Doesn't mind farming underneath the T1 tower either, because you can just Agimorph and just juggle your strength as well. You see Bok, as soon as he shows his face in lane for just a second, sheer presence of the supports is quite scary, and now they move in. The shackles are there on CML. They are going to go on Bok instead. They have the dust available. Raging, though, doesn't have Hex available, so they won't really be able to lock him down. And Bok will just run out, but you are still just essentially making it so Bok can't find anything. So it's almost even worse than dying, just being alive and not being able to farm.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Again, Bok is going to try to recover in that jungle, but the presence from Mineski supports has been a bit too much to handle, even up top. You take a look at Natsumi against KP, it's not so bad for Natsumi. They're keeping up in farm, 31-1, and KP is at 31-1 as well. The issue is Boomy is not around to really soak. He's not around to apply any harass, so again, KP's having free time here. He's going to hit a pretty decent timing on his items when they do come out. And well, how do you contest an Omni Knight that fast?
They're going to find Bok on that Sand King. He's in the Sandstorm, but it won't matter. He's underneath the Sentry Ward, although he runs out of range now. They actually aren't going to find him quite yet. Ninja Boogie is still around the area, but doesn't have mana for the Stroke of Fate. He will have Waveform up in about 5 seconds, but I think it's all too late to try and take down Bok, so he does miraculously survive that situation. Still has to be careful.
That does feel like it's actually a bit of a loss for Adroit, because you're still playing on the edge as Bok. Like, as you mentioned earlier, like staying alive but not even clearing out the jungle does feel worse.
They are going to go onto the Shadow Shaman, so Raging Potato should end up falling here fairly easily, and Mac will be the one to clean up the kill on the Ember. He'll TP straight back into that mid lane afterwards as well. That was a nice pickup for him as well, because he struggled so much up against Moon's Lina. He's so far behind in terms of last hits that he does need to find those kills across the map to even kind of get close to what Moon's farming up right now.
Definitely so. He has to be a bit careful though. I mean, Moon has had that Laguna Blade up for a while now. If he lands that LSA, he has enough damage to burst down the Ember.
He's got a 1 level advantage as well over that Ember.
Dire are scanning.
So look back up the top lane. Looks like the PA has just completely left the lane now, so Natsumi actually just going to go straight into the jungle, clear out those stacks that were made for him by the Magnus. Of course, the Empower going to help the cause quite a bit. Meanwhile, every time I look at Bok, he's just so low on HP. He's got 100 right now. In terms of net worth, he's only got 1.7k in comparison to the 3.7 of Nico Baby. It's just a matter of what Bok is up to. Like, it's kind of like he's accepted the fact that he's not getting gold and he's just trying to get those levels up.
I mean, there's really not much he can do. Even if he spams out that Sandstorm, he's just so low. Nico Baby has ways of doing damage even in that invis. And, oh, up
KP
top.
now. Yeah, gonna get chased down, but he's just so healthy. He's got Purification available again. He almost ended up killing off Boomy on the Magnus.
Radiant's top tower
This is the problem with an offlane Omni Knight. It's just so hard to kill him off, especially with the heroes that Adroit picked up. So KP has basically had a free game. In fact, if you look at all 3 cores of Mineski right now, they are top of the net worth board. So all of them have basically had free lanes for themselves.
It does look that way. And again, that's a bit of an issue for Adroit. Their lineup actually comes online fairly early. You want to be riding off the back of that PA to burst everyone down, and they are clearing a very nice big stack.
Yeah.
So that's some really good comeback gold for Natsumi at the very least.
He is, definitely is. We'll see how much it does pay off those Natsumi. Looks like he's going for a not a Vanguard, excuse me, the Vladimir's offering first. Once that lifesteal up, we'll buy the Morbid Mask, so he's able to farm the jungle a lot easier now. He'll probably just stick around here, like, I imagine Boomy will just keep stacking up for him across the map, and he'll probably just keep farming it up, because he knows he can't go back into the lane now. Like, just that Omni Knight is never going to leave, and he's going to be a pest constantly. In fact, speaking of, CML is there trying to soak some XP. He does get the disruption off onto KP, and we'll get out of there. But he understands as well, he can't actually defend this T1 tower anymore, so KP's just going to take it by himself.
Yeah, a solo Omni Knight finding that first tier 1 of the game, that's not very typical, but again, with the amount of pressure that Mineski has been pumping out, with her lineup specifically, there's really not much you can do as a droid. All you can do is wait for that PA to be online, wait for the blink on Boomy perhaps, or at the very least some itemization on Mac, and then start snowballing from there.
Ninja gonna run to Mac. Silence will be there though, and now the Inkswell as well as the Shackles Laguna comes out. They just blow him up. Now, oh, Boomy! Not like this,
man.
Boomy! And he gets out of range of the Ancient, so he does end up giving a kill away to Moon.
Oh man.
Oh, when the stacks turn against you, John. You've been stacking those creeps up for the PA, and eventually they were gonna turn. Now Bok, Sentry Ward drop, he's in trouble. The silence is there. The Burrow Strike stolen by Nico Baby. He does Burrow Strike back against Ninja Boogie. It's not going to be enough though. Inkswell is there, and now the Adaptive. They don't even need the Inkswell. Just take out the Sand King. 4-2 now, but a 5k net worth lead 10.5 minutes in. That is massive.
That really is massive. That's a very good lead for Mineski. One of the more solid leads we've seen all day.
Mid lane. They're going to jump in. Moon starting to fall very, very low on the Lina. They do finally take him out. Natsumi now trying to go after Raging Potato and should be able to find this kill as well. KP not really able to help and not using the Guardian Angel whatsoever. He is going to be able to save himself. Now rotation coming in though. It's taking so darn long, but it will be Nico Baby. Only problem is he doesn't really have mana to use. And it looks like this rotation is just due to the T1 tower. That's all they want.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Boomy tries to deny. Fortifications is there, and they should be able to get this deny off because KP's falling way too low. Purifications to come. Mac gonna chase though. The Guardian Angel does come out, but they've got magic damage to deal with this man. KP now overextending though. No, Heavenly Grace will come out as well. He's still surviving, but Mac does find him with the Sleight of Fist. But now Nico Baby with the Inkswell waveform gonna be able to find this Ember. Surely though, no RP comes out. Boomy just saving the day for the moment. Mac, he will be able to walk himself out of there, and I believe they will be able to deny that T1 tower as well. And CML, we'll see if he does opt to do that. Look, that range creep scared me for a second. CML does get it, although Moon will punish him for denying that. And well, he does disrupt the Moon, but that won't matter in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's a much bigger thing, getting that deny off in tier 1. The real issue is the loss of map control, so that does mean Mineski can dip in and out of those jungle stacked areas and really start to contest your heroes. In fact, oh, Mac drops very low clearing out these camps.
Does get out in the nick of time before Ninja Boogie spots it out. Still, a 3k net worth lead remains for Mineski, so Adroit, they do pull back a bit. 5-5 now, 12.5 minutes in. SPA does have the Vladimirs, is going for the Desolator next, and once that Deso's up, she can be a lot more aggressive. In fact, Moon has to be careful. He does get daggered. He tried to go after Mac, but that was wishful thinking. And doing that by yourself near the T2 tower does end up costing him. And now with this smoke, Adroit look to make more. Nico Baby though, waveform TP, he'll be out of there just fine, and the rest do walk out towards the south. So the smoke will end up leading to nothing, but still, the Lina kill is going to be very nice.
Middle tower is under
It is a nice little gold injection for Adroit, and it does kind of give them a bit more to work with. You still haven't really seen an offensive sort of fight coming out from Adroit. They've only been really responding for the most part from Mineski's movement. So they still have a lot to wait for before they can start these fights on their own terms. Key thing again is going to be Boomy's Blink perhaps, or even a Blink or Ags coming out from Bach. And once those tools are up, the initiation can come out, but before then, they're just going to have to take their time here. When the aggression comes out, if there's an opening, they'll take it. But otherwise, they're just going to take their time. They're going to farm up. And so far, Mineski actually hasn't managed to contest as much as you'd expect, especially after how they performed in that early game. Natsumi is actually finding all the stacks now.
Certainly is. You'll have that Deso up very, very soon. Looks like Mineski trying to find another target to go after, and they'll go after Bok for a bit, but he has the Burrow Strike away. Moon can't get in range for the LSA. They'll leave him be. Well, Nico trying to go after that Manta style. He'll have that up pretty darn soon. Ultimate Orb is going to be there for Nico Baby in probably about 30 seconds or so for him. It looks like they might just go ahead and pressure that top tier 2 tower. The Adroit boys, they are kind of going towards the bot tower, but it looks like they have rotated towards the mid as well. Perhaps thinking about a defense, but the Serpent Wards have already been dropped, and they still aren't in position to try and defend this tower. Deso does come up now on the PA, but they are not making the rotations whatsoever.
That's going to be free tier 2 going the way of Mineski, it looks like, and that's a major objective going the way of the Radiant side. Of course, that just means it's going to be much more dangerous in that jungle.
has fallen.
Now Matt gonna get spotted. KP though will take a banner in for himself. They are gonna try and go on him. In fact, that's a lot of damage going out. But now, the PA almost goes down to the Laguna Blade. Not quite, but now the Soulbind comes up at the RP. Boomy found it. Now the triple remnants, but the double LSA comes out as well. They're gonna turn it around. Mineski, Adroit was so darn close. Epicenter to come out from Bok, but he is pretty much dead. A nice LSA from Moon, cancelling off the TP, and Bok is still surviving in the sandstorm, but they are just throwing everything they have at him to try and find him. No sentries, no dust. Bok does finally show himself walking down the river and actually gets away with the Burrow Strike. But still, a nice turnaround there for Mineski, and they do punish quite heavily on the Ember.
That is the key worry from Adroit's draft. You saw what happened there. When the Guardian Angel came out, the damage from the PA was no longer there. Natsumi, even with that good Desolator timing and the Empower, just can't do anything when the Guardian Angel is up. And it's always going to be up, especially if you can't burst KP down. If you can't get that control onto him, he's just going to pop it on, his team's going to back him up, and the damage is going to be there. Again, the burst damage from Mineski is what you're worried about right now. Your cores are not tanky at all. So the PA rushing that BKB, once it's up, perhaps you can take these fights. But, you know, you could see Moon going for the Ags by then as well.
Well, 6-6 now. 3k net worth lead remains for the side of Mineski once again. Natsumi getting, trying to get a BKB up, which is definitely an item she does need, it seems like, to really be able to confidently jump in. We're going to take her around that 20-minute mark to farm that up. But it still doesn't reduce that problem that you were just talking about. That Guardian Angel is going to be the bane of her existence every single time. While they do have a bit of magic damage in the SK and the Ember, it just doesn't seem like enough in the end. Not unless they land a massive RP to follow up. Looks like Mineski are starting to posture in the mid lane, trying to force it in, perhaps try to claim that tier 2 tower as well. They understand they can take any team fight right now while the PA doesn't have that BKB up.
They have the blink up on the Magnus now, so Boomy does have that blink initiation available. They might be looking to reveal that here.
No, he had it last team fight, John.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, it all happened very quickly. But Boomy, he might be able to use it right now. The Roshan is going down. It's scan was there though. They are aware of it and they will find the use out on the Ember, but not quite the LSA. Now they jump in. A lot of damage being dealt. Natsumi will find 2 already. The Soulbind just doesn't matter. Now the RP as well. It will be dodged by Nico Baby, but will it matter? KP's gone. Guardian Angel was so darn late. Now they go on the Morphling, crit him down, although he's still taking a lot of damage on this Morph. He'll morph into the Ember now, but Nico surely dead, and he does go down Adroit. They find some massive kills. Now Bok looking for more. He's found the support Shadow Demon, Raging Potato. He goes down as well, and the Roshan is going to be very easy pickings for the side of Adroit.
Yeah, that's a very good fight for it.
Yeah, KP still sticking around. They're copping a lot of damage once again. He wants to try and contest. He does Heavenly Grace himself. The buyback was there from Ninja Boogie as well. Roshan about to fall, though Aegis will be taken immediately by Natsumi, and now they look for more. The Morphling will be able to waveform away, though KP falling so darn low, though double stun comes out from him once again. They blow up CML. Where's the PA, though? They didn't actually Laguna the proper target, it looks like. They'll go on to Bok on the Sand King, and they should be able to find this. Still, you would have loved to find that PA, but nevertheless, I suppose you do punish for that Roshan.
Yeah, they at least managed to find a trade there. They had to expend a lot of buybacks for that, though. And overall, again, Adroit finds a lot more from that team fight. Getting everything they want in that process. They managed to get Natsumi to live as well. They, you know, even without the BKB, Natsumi managed to slip in and out there, and that is a bit worrisome for Mineski. They need to tighten up their targeting. They really need to get a grip on that PA somehow. And they have to be ready whenever she blinks in, because she is the main source of damage. So you're going to have to watch out for Natsumi. KP as well, he's going to need to really play with that Guardian Angel quite well. Level 1, probably not the best duration. I'm going to be looking for it to be up to level 2 at least by the next engagement, and that should help out the cause. 1 extra second could make all the difference in the world.
Still Natsumi going to move down with his team. They will scan out Raging Potato, but he's currently smoked up. They'll still find him anyway. Nice skewer back by Boomy, and they will claim the kill. Now Adroit looking to push in that bot T1 tower. Like, they haven't taken a T1 yet, so there's still a lot of gold to be taken by the Dire side. With that Desolator on Natsumi, it's not going to take very long whatsoever. Side of Mineski just trying to farm up on the opposing side. Nico Baby trying to pick up an Eye of Skadi on that Morphling. Natsumi, though, will claim the T1. Might even go for more as well. Like, they have the Aegis. They'll smoke up, though. Adroit have a very long walk if they wish to actually find somebody. There is Raging Potato walking down to the bot lane, but it looks like they are headed towards the mid. Moon might be the unlucky target that they find. No, they're going to perhaps run through their own jungle now. No, they'll just give up on the smoke. And Natsumi. Look, he's going to go for a bit of a bait play for his team. The rest are going to hide behind the tree line. Moon going to stand on top of the cliff. He understands what's going on here. You're still going to be worried about Boomy's skewer. KP going to jump in. Heavenly Grace is there. They found the T1 tower already, and now a smoke comes out from Mineski. What can they make happen with this, though? Both teams just kind of circling each other right now. Neither one really finding the target they wish for. Right, do they jump? No, Moon's up the cliff. Raging Potato could be an easy target. Bok, though, he gets hexed up before the burrow, but look at Natsumi. Just makes the Shaman disappear. Now Ninja Boogie as well. The Burrow Strike comes out just in the nick of time. Double kill coming out for the PA. And I would say this PA is pretty much online by this point.
Definitely so. With that BKB, with the Desolator up, Natsumi can just blink in, no care in the world, get the damage off, burst down those heroes. And again, as long as KP is not around, you're going to be able to get those bursts down very quickly. The only issue is, when you take these big 5v5s, KP has that Guardian Angel, but he hasn't been showing up, really, recently, and they have found his key pickups. Wow.
Quick heals from Moon, but now the Burrow Strike goes in and they just jump the Lena straight away and she just disappears as well. KB with the Guardian Angel, but it gets purged off. Heavenly Grace will be there, but now they jump on Raging Potato. He dies. Buyback is there though. Bok has lost his own life and now do they die for more? Looks like Nico Baby thinking about jumping in as that Ember, but I wouldn't recommend it. And Adroit smelling blood on the water. They want to go after that tier 2 mid tower, but looks like they will opt to play this safe, though I say that Natsumi still has the Aegis and wants KP now. Can they find the Morphling? CML gonna find the disruption, but not gonna lead to anything quite yet. They won't jump KP either because he's just the harder target to go for. Now Natsumi picks up a full basher, and we'll just TP out of there safely.
Yeah, you are starting to lose a lot of ground here as Mineski. Your counterplay just isn't there yet. You've not farmed enough on Nico Baby. He doesn't do the damage just yet, although...
CML, cops the Laguna, still alive though, now disrupts himself as well, so he dodges the Stroke of Fate. Bok, a double burrow, and here comes Natsumi once again. Moon, he goes down. Now Raging Potato's gone. That was a dieback on the Shaman. Ninja Boogie really doesn't want to go down, but has no choice in the matter. KP cops the RP to the face. There's a regen rune there, but he's not going to get it. He gets 4-star for 1.3k crit though coming out, and he is dead. Triple kill coming out from Natsumi, and a godlike streak for the PA. The only man left standing is Nico Baby up at the top lane. But this tier 2 mid tower definitely going to be going down at the very least.
For sure. And once again, Adroit is finding every single thing they want. That Guardian Angel, whenever it's down, you're so vulnerable right now as Mineski. You're just not tanky enough in your cores. And Natsumi has had a really good time. 12-0. 12-0 right now. They have not been able to find that target on Natsumi's backhand. They do have the heroes for that. They've been trying. Moon has just not been able to press the guy down.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
With that, net worth lead now about 4k the way of Adroit. In fact, make that 5. Dota Plus has swung the way of Adroit as well. Currently 79% the way of the die to win this game. I don't really disagree with that right now either. Like, you've got that late game potential in Nico Baby on the Morphling, but he just doesn't seem like he's anywhere near getting to that point yet. That Eye of Skyline that's coming up is going to help the cause, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to need a lot more than that. Looks like Moon trying to go for an Aghanim Scepter now on the Lena as well to have that real burst potential through the BKB of the PA. KP still hasn't gone for that second level on Guardian Angel either. He's opting to just max the degen or out first. I guess just not valuing that extra 1 second.
That attack slow is kind of nice. I don't think you're reducing too much though. Because, you know, when he blinks in, he gets a lot of bonus. 175 now. So it's not like the 35 attack slow, 34 attack slow is going to be much. It's not like the movement slow is going to be all too big now, considering how fast you melt anyway, and Adroit comes in.
Yep, smoke up. They see Ninja Boogie. It's a very easy target, though. Do they go for KP instead? Double Burrow Strike comes out. The Soulbind was there, but the RP. Oh, Boomy, and look at the melt, John. They just... It's almost like a magic trick. Natsumi. One minute they're there, 1 minute they're not.
It certainly is. And, you know, there's just no response from Mineski. They really are riding them back of...
They bounce one mid lane though. There's a skewer from Boomy. He's really setting up for the team. Dodges the LSA and Raging Potato just goes down, and now they'll go after Moon as well. He's just a sitting duck right now. He has another stun available. He does blink away as well under the T3 tower, but the Sleight of Fist will be there from Mac. That does at least save them from copping a lot of tier 3 damage up at the top lane. Bok's really the only one there on the Sand King right now, so he can't do much about that tower. But that net worth lead is just going higher and higher for Adroit. And it's starting to get hard seeing Mineski coming back into this.
They managed to catch out the Ember down mid, but it just wasn't enough. Again, the damage coming out from Moon is lacking now. It's just not as good as it was a while ago. He's still trying to build into that Ags. The timing is most definitely off, and this is going to be the Roshan going the way of Adroit.
Yeah, and a very easy one at that, because Natsumi just hits like an absolute truck. He'll go for a Satanic next on the PA. Already has the full Abyssal up. And at this rate, like Adroit, it's really their game to lose. Just no way to control this PA. Boomy's been playing out of his mind on the Magnus as well. You see the side of Mineski just kind of staying away from Adroit right now. They understand they can't take a team fight. Adroit, meanwhile, starting to posture around that Radiant jungle. They have the mid and top lane pushed in, so you'd imagine they'd go for a bit of a push up at that top lane soon, and that's exactly what Natsumi's making his way to. They won't rush anything though, they'll take it easy. Some more conservative play coming out from these guys.
You're going to see Natsumi pretty soon picking up that Satanic as well. Farm is reaching to that point where he should have it now maybe in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And once that's up, with a BKB on, there's just no stopping this guy. He's just going to regen through all your damage. Again, you don't have anything that pierces the BKB just yet. And even then, by the time that Ags is up from the Lina, the damage is not going to be enough to burst down his PA. So it's all about timing. Mineski just doesn't have a way of jumping the PA beforehand as well. Like, even if they wanted to try to pick her off now, Adroit has been sticking together. They just have no response to this hero. And again, they had the tools earlier on. It just kind of fell apart.
Natsumi, you know, does show himself in the mid lane though, does back off. Aghanim Scepter will be up now on the Ember, so there's another problem to deal with for the side of Mineski. They look to jump. Dagger will be there, but it's only onto Nico Baby, who's pretty darn healthy and pretty darn tanky. Team Boomy just waiting for his opportunity to jump in for the RP. He does miss the skewer this time around. Raging Potato will be alive. See another day. Nice bash comes out with the Spectral Dagger. Or excuse me, not the Spectral Dagger, the Stifling Dagger. Meanwhile, Moon, though, has been pushing down in that bot lane, so they may be forced to come back and defend this. Batterunes are up as well. Natsumi not really backing off quite yet, but he has lost half his HP now. Still holds on to the Aegis. They are slowly but surely taking that T3 tower as well with those Shadow Demon illusions. Slowly but surely, they'll get the tier 3 tower. Moon's going to try and find some kind of objective for his team at the bot lane, but a bit of a slow process for him. Nico, going to be okay. Corruption will be there onto Natsumi. He's going to be careful of his own illusions. Again, that bot wave going to be pushing in, and this time around you will have a TP coming up, and it is Mac. He can always remnant back to the mid lane, so he's not going to be too concerned with this whatsoever. They aren't going to back yet on the side of Adroit. Mac does join in again.
You do finally have that Ags coming out on Moon. Again, is it enough at this point in the game? 31 minutes in.
Good question. They'll take the tier 3 tower for the side of Adroit, and it looks like that's all they wanted. They will back off and go for the shrines. But they still do have an Aegis and Cheese available. The PA holding that Aegis, but it looks like they may not have a use for it anytime soon.
Yeah, it does seem like, again, Adroit is comfy enough to take this game slow. They're in no rush. They're just slowly dismantling the side of Mineski. That is a bit of an opening for Mineski to find some farm around the map. They still need Nico Baby to really come online. He has that Scotty, he has that Mantis style. It doesn't feel like he's going to be doing the damage just yet. He is going into that E-Blade as well. So perhaps once that's up, the disarm and the damage coming out could be enough to control Natsumi.
Oh, sneaky play though. They found Moon in that mid-river, and now Natsumi just jumps in and just tears him apart. Great TPs coming out from Adroit. They knew that they wouldn't be expecting that on the side of Mineski. With that, 10 to 25 now. Mineski not looking great at all. Now Adroit in position to take that final outer tower off the side of Mineski, and that's exactly what they'll go do. I do wonder At what point do you think Adroit just jumps in on the high ground? Because they do seem to be playing very, very cautiously.
I mean, not now. They just lost their Aegis. It just expired. So if they did want to jump up, this moment would be a bit weird. It does look like they have the Satanic straight up on Natsumi, though. So that option is there. Perhaps... I mean, they could still go for it, of course. Like, again, no stuns going through that BKB on Natsumi. That's the key thing. You can just flick on that Satanic, get the lifesteal off. He doesn't really have to worry about the thing. The thing is that Boomy has been fairly conservative with that Blink RP right now. He has been playing it safe, not really risking too much for the team, which is understandable. It's just that with all the follow-up you have, you know, you have Bach as well to follow up that RP. It doesn't feel like you have too much to lose.
Adroit again. Gonna back off. This does buy more time for Mineski to get up on online, and that Ethereal Blade is now affordable for Nico Baby. Boomy, waiting up at that top lane. He has the RP available though. Do they have the DPS? They only have Mac there. He remnants in. He found Nico Baby. Cancel the TP with the skewer as well.
Oh boy.
It's going to make it really hard for this Morphling. BKB from Mac. They really want this kill on Nico. He does have buyback gold available though, I do believe. At least, I guess, in a weird way, he is wasting time, but now Natsumi finds him. And he is probably going to be forced to buy back. And all the tips coming out from Adroit, they do love seeing this. Not great news once again for Mineski. I just don't know what they do here. Like, they're just so far behind. Just this PA, like, how do you control this woman?
At this point, you really don't. You need your Morphling to be able to hit as hard. It's just not there yet. They can't buy out the E-Blade as well because they need a buyback roll on Nico Baby. So that damage is just not going to be coming out. And the disarm's not going to be coming out.
Natsumi gonna run up the hill this time around, going for that tier 3 though. Hex comes out immediately, and now the skewer. Boomy, he will not connect the skewer this time around. Still that top tier 3 tower, not gonna last very long at all. Now those racks is gonna be open. They'll get a chains off onto KP. Again, he's not really the target they want to jump on though. Nico Baby still holding onto the buyback though. It looks like they'll allow the Raxes to go down, and now RP comes up. They only found one on the Shaman. They'll take him out. So Raging Potato does have buyback as well. Laguna comes out, but Mac is still alive and will just eat the cheese and survive. That top Rax is gone. Buyback coming up from Raging, but it is all too late. The only positive there for Mineski is the fact that they saved Nico Baby's buyback. But that is really the only positive at all.
And they save the buyback, but they lose the racks.
Yeah.
Is that worthwhile to send? Oh, God. That's a...
John, I looked away for a
buyback.
second. Apparently there's a dieback on Raging Potato.
Yeah, you just can't show yourself to this PA anymore. You just can't. The damage is too strong. All your supports will just melt. The Empower combination is there. It's just too much to work out. It's too much to play around at this point. And again, the response from Mineski, what can they do about it? They've just fallen apart every single fight.
Well, they're holding high ground. Have faith in Nico Baby to carry them later on. Does have the Ethereal Blade up, so there is some form of control, though Natsumi has the BKB anyway. So you've got to wait that BKB up before you can actually try to blow Natsumi up. Even then, he's sitting at 3k HP anyway, so it's not going to be that easy. And Range Rax going to end up going down to the Shadow Demon Illusions. And they'll just keep slowly doing this, just chip away. In fact, no, Burrow Strike is there. They'll jump straight onto KP, and KP's gone. He has no buyback available. And now Mac going for the Grimstroke as well. He'll be able to find Ninja Boogie. He will have buyback and will use it immediately. Raging Potato will be back up in 5 seconds on the Shaman. Nice Light Strike Ray on 3, but where's the follow-up? They don't end up finding anyone, and now they lose Moon. He'll buy back immediately. So how do you punish? They might be able to find Mac, but he has an Aghanim Scepter. He's probably going to be perfectly fine. Natsumi just going for that final tier 3 tower. Mineski got to get in there somehow and try to defend this. They will use up the PA, but again, she does have Well, she doesn't actually have BKB right now, but doesn't matter. The Spectre's coming in, and now the RP. Boomy, he found all of them. Oh, this is really bad that the Ink Swirl does come out. It will stop things for a moment, but it's not going to matter. They're just getting melted right now. Natsumi pops the Satanic as well. He'll survive, and the GG comes out. And Adroit will surprise us this series, John. They will pull off a pretty convincing win up against Mineski.
Definitely is convincing. 10 to 35, 38 minutes in, 28k network lead. You had a couple of moments for Mineski where it looked really good for them. You had KP, he had a good time in his lane, he slowed down farm from Natsumi. It wasn't good enough. They didn't manage to shut down that jungle, they didn't manage to contest those stacks that we were talking about earlier on. And from there, once Natsumi had a couple of key items, it was just straightforward. They had no response, the farm from Nico Baby wasn't fast enough, and they really just missed their window there.
Well, good news, John, is the Dota 2 coordinator went down, so we won't have the recap of the game, which is really unfortunate. Nevertheless, I'm assuming there's another update, so we'll go sort that out, John. There is one final series for us tonight. That is going to be, of course, one of our favorites. Jinus Bros are going to be back up against Boom ID. I would probably say this could be the matchup of the day for us. It looks like a very fun matchup, to say the least. We'll find out very soon how it all turns out, though. It is MLPDotA and Johnxfire. We'll be back with you in about 5 to 10 minutes to see how the last series ends up between Boom ID and Jinus Bros. See you soon.